Hey, Eric Sider here, and it's time for a garden update. Hopefully last night was the last frost of the season. It's getting hard to know when to plant because new plants don't take to frost very well. But I had a load of tomatoes, very young, survived, so things are looking good, and just planted up some cucumbers today, so hoping for no more frost. Let's see what's going on. Going to start with the ugly section first and work our way to the nicer looking productivity and some new things happening with the chickens. But as you can see from all this rain we've had, which I am not complaining about the rain, the wind and the frost I could certainly do without, but I got this weed explosion. So this is the last part of the yard that's gonna need some serious weeding, but it all goes to the chickens, so it's all good. Nothing really new in this bed yet, just some spring onions all going to seed now, big old celery, and lots of volunteer lettuce and some strawberries. Now I did have plans to redo this whole side, but I am tempering my development plan somewhat, so I think I will be planting prize zucchini all along here, because it tends to take over anyway. So I got peas, another round of peas coming along the fence, and probably throw some other stuff up there depending on how much extra seedlings I have. Again, more spring onions, and here we got some tomatoes. These tomatoes were definitely getting very leggy, so they just needed to go on the ground, and fortunately they survived the frost last night, so that's good. We got a broccoli overrun with aphids, so can either cut that, give it to the chickens, or let the ladybugs make their way over here. And here's some more tomatoes with some kind of sad looking basil interspersed. Again, the temperature swings are just not making things happy. And just a little tip I discovered: if you don't have hoops for your frost protection, tomato cages on their side work pretty well. Very healthy looking parsley. This is going on its second year now. And some sad looking mint boxes that will recover. So I got strawberry plants, strawberry mint, and pineapple mint in here. And some spearmint over in this one. And some more. I got wheatgrass up the wazoo from the straw bales I was bringing on site. This is the weedy lawn. Did have some mini clover that's supposed to be a lot more drought tolerant seeded, and then we got hit with another big rainstorm, so most of that seed probably washed away. We'll see what comes up. But at the moment, weedy lawn's looking good. Here we have the perennial barrier planting. Got daffodils and tulips coming on strong. Got daylily all popping up now. Lemongrass should be looking a lot better in another few weeks. Some calla lily, which just I think looks pretty nice, and all the extra, and grows very well and reproduces quite fast, so all good for the compost. And some more strawberry mint and some chocolate mint that's just taken over. Nice big healthy looking orange poppy right there. Got some volunteer kale, society garlic, one of my favorite edge plants. A yarrow, lemon verbena, which a lot more cold hardy than I thought. Got some lantana, lemon balm, and asparagus. So this is just basically a big old mishmash of all kinds of things. And we got some volunteer sunflower, courtesy of the bird feeder up there. More volunteer lettuce. It is just popping up everywhere. And I will say, lettuce grown on its own from seed is definitely more cold hardy than started in trays. And then, I mean, look at this. If that's not a advertisement for soil health and fertility, I don't know what is. Got a calendula and a beet with about 6 or 7 lettuce plants, all in about 2 or 3 square feet, all looking amazing. None of that was planted. Well, I planted the calendula. Everything else was volunteer. Again, more lettuce, more lettuce. Let's see, we got onions all wrapping around that curvy bed. And we got this is all wildflower seeds coming up. So we're playing the game. Is it a weed or is it a wildflower? Not sure until it grows a bit. So, but again, all weeds go to the chickens, and what the chickens don't eat goes to the compost. And here we got about half of it cabbage, the other half cauliflower with some kale and tatsoi mixed in. Tatsoi is all going to seed now. A volunteer Swiss chard. No idea where that came from. And then playing around with these palm leaf ribs to see if they can make a little hoop structure. Works pretty well. So might be what I use for hoops for frost protection or some insect netting, we'll see. The potatoes are coming up now. So I got all purple potatoes planted here. Garlic, very close to harvest time. And this is the New Zealand spinach, which is not a true spinach, but very much functional like a spinach, and it's perennial. So that's anytime I can get perennial greens, I'm all for it. This is my perennial cabbage. So this is the second head of cabbage from the same plant. And we got a nice little snail, and that will be going to the chickens. There's another one in there. Yep. Oh, there's another one. Good old chicken food. So when you harvest the cabbage, leave the roots in the ground and you might get another crop. Ooh, these are except these also sometimes aren't so healthy, so they're full of aphids. So again, all can go to the chickens. So I got 2 nice heads of cabbage and a few not so nice. Here we got some more tomatoes, but I forget which one these are. These are either cherry tomatoes or Cherokee purple. Can't remember. I'm sure there's a label somewhere. And broccoli all going to flower. So the pollinators are getting a nice treat there. And I'll probably go ahead and let that go to seed and shake that all around. So we'll just have volunteer broccoli next season. Again, playing around with some hoop protection. Oh, here we go. What is that? I can't even read that. Okay, these are the Cherokee purples. These other ones were the cherry tomatoes. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to have 2 stakes at either end, right? One in front of the banana and one here, and I'm going to run some string straight across, and then those are going to be used for the support. See how that goes. Banana's coming back strong. Might get some actual fruit, since will be technically the second year it's growing. So you need 18 to 24 months for a banana to fruit. So typically it's difficult to get fruit when you get freezes, because the banana dies back and then it basically starts over again. So if you can keep most of the stem from freezing or dying, it basically is rebooting and isn't starting from scratch. These are the champion peas, started from my own seed that I saved from last year, and these things have been just getting beat up from the storms. They're basically growing at a 45-degree angle at this point, but they are producing well. We've been eating peas for about a month now, and there we go. So every year the seed will just get better and more adapted to this location. Have some cushaw down here that is not a little plastic greenhouse trial there. I don't know why, they just did not look very happy in the flats. I think they might have got left outside when it got cold too long. So hopefully they recover, and as long as I get a few plants that produce, then at least I'll be able to save the seed for next round. I also expanded this planting, so just taking advantage of more of this chain link fence. And this is a apple tree there in need of serious pruning. Again, all the fruit trees are in desperate need of lots of pruning, but it's been 10 years with no pruning, so it can only do so much in a year. This is my bamboo grove. Trying out a few different bamboos in containers. I got two giant bamboos, which timber bamboos, so you see how big they get in pots, and then a couple clumping bamboos, and then one skinnier running bamboo that's really good for stakes and thinner support trellises, etc. So bamboo is just an awesome plant, and most people are afraid to plant running bamboo because rightly it can be a maintenance nightmare, but there are ways to control it, and I would not just rely on one. So you can do rhizome barriers, but again, nature being the way it is, they easily can find a crack or jump over or anything. So my favorite method to utilize running bamboo would be on islands and ponds, because they're not likely to get off an island. But one of the few cold hardy giant bamboos are all running bamboos. So clumping bamboos that are cold hardy tend to be smaller. I mean, good for privacy, screens, maybe stakes for things, but if you actually want to be able to build structures and you're in a cold climate, you got to mess with the running bamboo. Okay, let's see. We got some serviceberry, some seaberry, thornless boysenberry, all just seedlings growing out. Couple dwarf mulberries there. Got a little shocked from the cold, so they're recovering. Got a fig. The dwarf thornless blackberry right there, so designed for containers, so that should be interesting. Pomegranate leafing out, looking excellent. Goji berry right there, and feijoa or pineapple guava. Now all these pots are root trappers, so they trap the root in that black felt material on the inside, and then it causes it to send out new roots, so you don't get circling. And these with the white exterior, they do not dry out quite so fast as just the regular fabric pots tend to dry out really quickly. So some more mint which will be taking over some ice plant, good living mulch, particularly in for the dry lands. Succulent ground cover. Let's see what we got here. Meyer lemon, not looking great, and a yuzu, and another thornless blackberry. So these pots here, I like them for the root pruning effect, but they dry out really quickly, so something to consider. That's why I've been shifting over to these root trapper with the outer protection. See a scrambling lantana, need to find a home for. So I've been doing a lot of cleaning and tidying up over here since I'm finally finished moving rocks to the front for the succulent garden out there. Where I didn't have the rocks, I've just been bringing in mulch. And I left a water harvesting berm on all the downsides of the fruit trees. And it was just getting muddy, mucky, and messy with all the rain and not being covered up. So just been bringing in mulch and looking a lot nicer and tidy and making the folks happy. This is the new cucumber planting. So again, this netting, and I got half pickling cucumbers and half slicing cucumbers. And then there was the little Azolla kiddie pool, so that got moved to make room for more planting. And at the moment, this one is gonna stay, but it might be moving as well. And the calamansi tree bouncing back from all the rain. It was just all the fruit was rotting and dropping, and yeah, it was just getting beat up. But you can see it's all flowering now. And this is more or less an ever-bearing citrus tree, so there's pretty much citrus all year, which is pretty awesome. And the chicken garden, here's the Trombocino round 2. First time I tried this was last fall, and it was way too late and nothing happened. So this plastic will be removed and replaced with some shade cloth, and so the Trombocino will hopefully, all things going well, climb up and over and provide its own shade. Also have runner bean all planted in there as well. And then I got a passion fruit and some chayote in the nursery that will probably go on either side of that. If you haven't seen the nest box videos, check those out. These are working excellent so far with the egg collection on the outside. And let's see what's happening. What's up, chiggies? So they've been doing between 8 and 11 eggs every day right now, and that's on 1/8 pound of feed per bird per day, which is the half what is recommended. And then they're getting forage and compost to round it out. So a few more weeks probably, if it's consistent egg production, I'll reduce the feed again and see how that works. Now tomorrow is compost day, so this is all spread out for the chickens to pick through. I put this 2x6 plank across because the new compost and the old compost was just getting all mixed together. But this has been one of the better adjustments I've made. So I got rid of the 5-gallon waterer, which works great and is great for portable situations where you don't have pressurized water, but it just got kind of a pain in the butt to clean out and dump, particularly when it's full. It's pretty heavy, to be honest. So they still make a mess, as you can see. I saw one standing in it not too long ago. But I got these blocks, so I can just spray the hose in there, clean out the sludge, and then it's got a float valve in there, so just always got fresh water. So that's handy. And also trying to make this as minimal daily chores as possible. So if I actually want to go away for a weekend, I would have to obviously put an on-demand feeder in here. So it's the one benefit of commercial feed, is you can put the on-demand food for the chickens if you actually want to leave them for a day or two. A bit more difficult to do with food scraps or forage. Although I suppose you could put 2 or 3 days worth of forage in the cage and let the chickens have at it. Nothing to see here. Hopefully this fig puts on some growth this year. And that is about that. One interesting thing. Pear tree flowering. And this is the Bradford pear, ornamental pear. Everybody's got a problem with these now, even though they're planted all over the place. But you can graft fruiting pear onto that. So instead of cutting it down, make use of it. But check this out. So when I pruned the pear tree, I had all these cuttings that I was going to graft onto the Bradford pear. Never got around to it. And now I got flowering cutting. No roots. It's just continuing to grow. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's sitting in an ecosystem, not just a bucket of water. So there's oxygen from the plants, but there's also a whole ecosystem in there. So wouldn't that be hilarious or amazing, or both, if this actually put fruit on a stick sitting in water? All right, I hope you enjoyed that little garden tour. More interesting things to come. And as always, if you're in need of permaculture t-shirts or consultation and design for your property, links will all be below. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.